Once again, there are aspects of this show that I would separate from this show and create a whole different show, which I think would be great. But as it is right now, there's a lot of weird, goofy things that just make me not like it. Hey, what's up, nerd fam? This is your boy Gashan. I want to welcome you to Into the Nerd. Today, we're going to talk about pretty much the series reaction to Ms.Marvel. Because, I did a video for the first 2 episodes, and I just let the rest of the episodes go by and watched everything. I'm like, okay, let's see what this is about. And 2 points that I made in the other video, I'm going to mention again. One, I actually like the chemistry between, the actors and actresses in this. And if this was a show about, uncovering the mysteries of her family that might be locked in Pakistan somewhere, and just the history, just a coming of age / history kind of lesson and mystery, I would like that. But because it's intertwined with this pre-existing character in Marvel, and they have to kind of bend lore and do a whole bunch of nonsensical things, it falls very flat on its face. And I'll explain why in a bit. Now, I also said, why couldn't they be part of the Inhumans? Why couldn't she be Inhuman? And the fact that they made her part of the Clandestine, which is a whole other property with a whole other group of characters that are not related to her, they could have done the Inhuman thing, seeing as how Black Bolt was in Multiverse of Madness. He could have came. She could have discovered she had those genes. This would have been a good way to introduce them while having her story. Mind you, I'm not a fan of Ms.Marvel. I'm just saying, because I complain about this with the characters that I like, so I want to be consistent and do it with the characters that I don't like either, because it's just the same practice of taking a character and bastardizing it just to tell whatever story that you want to tell, right? Now, besides that, what nonsensical things happen? These clandestines that have been here and had all these powers and been so experienced, for some reason when they're fighting her, cannot handle a girl who just got her powers. That was very, very strange to me. As well as Damage Control, who clearly were coming after her because she was enhanced. Right, because they felt like she was using her power irresponsibly in that con, and they saw that video on TikTok when she almost dropped the boy. Somehow, that narrative is still getting spun to they're trying to go after her because she's Muslim, which is very strange, because they're very clear in the messaging. Even at the end of the show, it's like, oh, I'm going after them because they're kids. And it was irresponsible using live rounds and shooting at kids and doing stuff like that. That was very irresponsible, but I think they were trying to draw the narrative that, oh, it's coming from the fact that they're Muslim or they're brown, as they would say. But they forget somebody blew up a deli, right? And then at some point, Cameron actually does attack them. Strange, even though they were being aggressive towards them as well, which is why this lady got taken out of Damage Control. It's all around them being enhanced. But for some reason, the Muslim thing was getting inserted in there. Not cool, right? And it's low-hanging fruit, and just kind of, and I get it, that's what the director wanted you to feel something, but it's like, no, you kind of made it obvious that this is not what these people are driven by, right? As well as the fact that now, apparently at the end, she's supposed to be maybe a mutant, because she has a mutation. I'm like, she already has a mutation based off of her genes being different because her ancestors not from here, but now you think she's going to be the first kind of confirmed mutant. That's whack. The Inhuman thing would have made a lot more sense, because where are the other ones? If she's a mutant, is she going to be the start of it? Very strange. Very strange. And I know some people go, oh, it's because, people don't support it because there's not a white lead character and whatever. That's what people were trying to say, trying to gaslight people. No, there are parts of this that honestly just weren't good, that I honestly didn't dig like that. I think this was episode 4 or 5 where she says, she's talking to her parents, I really want them to know there's a hero out there that is there to for them. And I'm like, are we saying that all the other heroes weren't? They were for everyone else but people in your community? Because she was talking about how her community was reacting to the whole Nightlight thing. You think they saved the world for everyone but them? And if that was the case, why do you like Ms.Marvel? Clearly that's your idol. So are you saying that she didn't care about everyone? Sometimes when people inject this type of logic in there, it just kind of eats itself, because it doesn't really make any sense when you think about it on the grand scale. It just sounds poignant, but doesn't actually make any sense. But I get it. Inclusion, right? That's the banner that Phase 4 pretty much falls underneath, even if it just doesn't really make much sense. Now, mind you, I have no problem with mind you, being a Muslim hero. I told you there's actually one Dust that I really like, and actually a couple more that are in the comics that are pretty cool. Not just Marvel, but in general, it's just the whole Ms.Marvel fan thing. I've never really been like a fan of. Like it doesn't really. It's not for me. If it's for you, I get it. But even with that, it's like Marvel doesn't seem to care about people who actually like the character. Specifically, once again, as it pertains to her powers, it gave her the whole embiggen thing at the end. It's like, okay, I get it, little nod, but like, where was that from the beginning? And where are all these weird glowy powers that don't come from there? It's like, okay, I guess, right? Whatever. But yeah, let me know. What do you think about Ms. Marvel? Is this one of your favorite shows? Is this one of the best, as they were trying to say before? Which clearly I don't think it is, right? But that's just my opinion. Someone who favors source material, doesn't really like the character, but does like consistency when it comes to storytelling and stuff like that, right? Like, even the last act was very goofy, like how all of them just showed up in the school where they were, like stuff like that it was just dumb. It's like, what was the age group? It's like 8 to 10-year-olds that just don't ask any questions. Whatever. It is what it is. Let me know what you thought about this show. Rate it from all the other shows. Is it best, worst, whatever? Let's talk about it. Enter the nerd.